Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. This time, we're going exploring AI in education.
Ooh, very timely.
It is. It feels like it's something that everybody's talking about these days. So we wanted to dig in a little bit deeper.
Absolutely.
And we've got two sources for this deep dive. We've got a guide for teachers
All right.
and a blog post by educator Heidi Neltner.
Mm,
And both of those are about actually using AI in the classroom.
wonderful.
So, one of the things that's fascinating about AI is we're already using it every day without realizing it.
That's so true. Think about how we rely on Google for everything directions,
Oh,
recipes,
yeah.
you name it.
Exactly. And Heidi even talks about in her blog post how Google AI saved her lasagna dinner. She
Really?
accidentally threw away the recipe and then just asked Google AI for an overview
Oh, wow.
of the steps. Of course, she had to double check for those AI hallucinations. Have you ever run into
Oh,
those?
absolutely. It's like when autocorrect changes a word to something
Yeah.
completely nonsensical. But in this case, it's giving you wrong information disguised as facts.
Yeah. I feel like that's one of the things that comes up in both of these sources is like this idea that AI is a tool.
Yes,
It's not a replacement for teachers.
definitely.
And they both emphasize that a lot. It's not about handing over the reins to AI, but about having a partner to enhance teaching.
Right. This is where that idea of humans in the loop comes in.
Yes.
It's not about letting AI take over, but using it to support what teachers already do best.
Yeah.
Like noticing patterns in how your students are learning. AI can help you analyze that data and make even more informed decisions.
So it's like having a superpowered assistant to help with things like planning or picking resources for each kid,
Exactly.
which actually leads perfectly into some of the practical tips that the blog post had about actually using AI in a classroom.
All right.
And one thing that really stood out to me was being aware of the age restrictions on different tools.
Yes, that's crucial.
Yeah.
So many AI tools require users to be 13 or older, which of course makes sense when you think about data privacy, but it definitely means that teachers have to check those rules before bringing AI into a lesson.
Absolutely. And it
Yeah.
made me think about how we need to be teaching kids when using AI is helpful and when it crosses the line
Yes.
into cheating.
Definitely.
Because I think having really clear rules about that seems super important.
I completely agree. Heidi even suggests creating a classroom AI policy
Mhm.
to address those issues head on. Think of it like your rules about plagiarism or citing sources,
Right.
but updated for this new world of AI.
Oh, that's such a good idea because then it sets those expectations right from the beginning. It
Exactly.
helps them understand the ethical side of using these tools.
Yes.
Speaking of responsible use assessment is one area where I see both the potential and the challenges of AI.
It is fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah.
On the one hand, you've got tools like Magic School Diffit, even ChatGPT,
Right.
that can help create test questions or quizzes aligned to what you're teaching. And on the other hand, there's that question of, is this really measuring what students know or just how well they can use the AI? You
Right.
know?
That's such a good point. We don't want to end up just teaching kids how to game the system.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But there are some tools that seem really promising for providing personalized feedback,
Yes.
which I know is something that a lot of teachers struggle with.
Oh, absolutely.
Brisk is one that comes to mind
Okay.
for giving feedback on student writing.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are the Microsoft Learning Accelerators that are built right into Teams.
Yes.
So they're really easy for teachers to access. And those offer features like Reading Coach and Speech Coach.
Yeah, those tools sound like they could save teachers so much time and give kids more targeted feedback.
Absolutely.
But I also wonder about the data privacy in those situations.
Right.
Like, are we comfortable with all that student data being analyzed by AI?
That is a really
Yeah.
critical question. That's why we always have to keep FERPA in mind. AI tools should never be used to analyze student data that includes any personally identifiable information. Student privacy has to be the top priority.
You're so right. And speaking of supporting students, AI seems like it could be a game changer when it comes to differentiation.
It has incredible potential there.
Yeah.
Diffit is a great example. It can take a reading passage
Okay.
and modify it for different reading levels.
Oh, wow.
So every student can access the content,
Yeah.
but at a level that's appropriate for them.
I'm imagining how much easier that would make things for teachers who have kids with huge range of reading abilities in one classroom.
Absolutely.
But of course, the teacher is still the one who knows the content best and has to make sure the quality is there.
Exactly. AI can't replace the teacher's expertise in choosing the right content,
Right.
making sure that it aligns with what they're trying to teach.
Which brings us back to that humans in the loop ideally,
Yes.
right?
We're the ones steering the ship.
Right, we're in charge.
And AI is there to help us navigate.
And both of the sources we've got really emphasize this idea of prompt engineering,
Yes.
which sounds kind of technical, but it's basically learning how to talk to AI.
It's a bit like learning a new language.
Okay.
You have to understand how AI thinks to communicate with it effectively.
So it's not just about typing in any old question.
No.
You have to be intentional.
You have to be specific. You have to give context and even tell AI what format you want the output in.
The blog post mentions this 5S model as a framework for crafting good prompts.
Yes.
What exactly is that?
The 5S model breaks down effective prompting into 5 key elements.
Okay.
You need to be specific about what you want.
Okay.
Provide sufficient context.
Okay.
Be succinct in your language. Structure your prompt clearly and make sure it's student-friendly.
Okay, so it's really like a checklist to
Exactly.
make sure that you're setting the AI up for success.
Exactly.
And speaking of resources, the blog post mentions this AI for Education prompt library.
It's a fantastic resource.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
It's a collection of prompts that teachers have found helpful
Okay.
for all sorts of educational purposes. So you can search for prompts by subject area, grade level, and even learning objectives.
So you can find something that's already been tried and true.
Exactly. It's a great place to start.
I love that it's like having this community of educators all sharing their best practices.
Exactly.
It feels like there's so much possibility here.
There really is. And the key takeaway from both of these sources is that this isn't about replacing teachers. It's about empowering them to be even more effective.
So it's AI as a partner,
Exactly.
not a replacement.
Right.
I like that.
Now, thinking about all the tools we've discussed so far,
Yeah.
what are some that have really caught your attention?
Well, Diffit is definitely high on my list just for that ability to modify reading passages for different reading levels.
Right.
And Brisk sounds great for giving writing feedback more efficiently. What about you?
Those are both great choices. And I'd add Magic School AI for help with creating prompts. And those Microsoft Learning accelerators we talked about earlier,
Yeah.
they seem like they have a lot of potential for everyday teaching.
Yeah, but it feels like we've only just scratched the surface.
Absolutely.
There's a whole world of AI in education waiting to be explored.
Absolutely. And that's what makes it so exciting.
Yeah.
It's a constantly evolving field with new tools and possibilities all the time. And it really is incredible how fast things are changing in this field, you know?
Right.
A few years ago, this was all just theory. And now there's all these tools out there.
It really does feel like we've stepped into the future, like it's exciting,
Yeah,
but also a little overwhelming.
definitely.
So I think the key is to just kind of stay curious and be open to experimenting as we go.
I agree completely. And remember, we're all kind of learning together in this.
Right.
You know, there's no one right way to use AI in education.
Right. It's about finding what works best for each teacher, student, and classroom.
Exactly.
Like trying things out, trying different tools and approaches.
And always thinking about how it's actually impacting learning. Like,
Yeah.
just because something exists
Right.
doesn't mean it's good for learning.
Yeah, we need to be really smart about the technologies we use
Exactly.
and always focus on what's best for students.
And be asking those questions like,
Yes.
does this tool actually help students understand the material better?
Right.
Does it make them more interested in learning? Does it help them think critically?
Those are really the questions that should guide how we use AI in education.
Yeah.
It's not about just using technology
Sure.
for the sake of it,
It's about empowering them to be lifelong learners.
right? Yes,
Yeah.
to develop those skills that they'll need in a world that's shaped by AI.
I mean, think about it.
Yeah,
These students in our classrooms today will be entering a workforce
right.
where this is everywhere.
So it's not just teaching them to use the tools, but helping them understand how it affects society.
Exactly. We need to prepare them to be informed citizens who can participate in these discussions about the ethics, the social impacts, the economic impacts, all of that.
It's a huge responsibility, but
Yeah.
also such a cool opportunity
It is.
to really shape education for the future.
And I think that starts with creating that classroom culture where
Sure.
curiosity, experimentation, critical thinking,
It's all valued.
all of it.
Yeah, encouraging kids to ask questions, challenge assumptions,
Right, 'cause
explore new ideas, not just with AI, but with everything they're learning.
And we need to bring that same mindset to our own professional development as educators, right?
Yes.
We should be lifelong learners ourselves.
Absolutely.
Always seeking out that new knowledge and those perspectives on how to use AI effectively.
It's a journey, not a destination.
Yeah.
We're all figuring this out as we go.
Exactly. And that brings us back to those sources we're exploring in this deep dive.
Hmm.
They give us such a valuable starting point for understanding the potential here,
Yes.
but they're just the beginning of the conversation.
They've given us so much to think about, both practical stuff and those bigger questions.
Right.
But I think that the key message that I keep coming back to is that AI is a tool.
It is.
And like any tool, its effectiveness depends on the skill of the user.
Absolutely.
So it's up to us as educators to learn how to use this in a way that truly benefits students
And prepares them for the future.
and prepares them for the future, yes.
Well said. And I think that's a perfect segue into our final thoughts for this deep dive.
As we wrap up our deep dive into AI in education, I want to leave you with something to think about. We've talked a lot about AI as a tool for teachers,
Right.
but what about students? How can students use AI to enhance their own learning?
That is a fantastic question, and one we should be encouraging our students to explore.
Yeah.
The possibilities really are endless.
I was just thinking about that. Like, okay, so students could use AI writing tools
Absolutely.
to improve their writing, or translation tools to understand information in different languages.
Exactly. And think about all those AI-powered research tools
Oh, yeah.
that can help you find and understand information so much faster.
All right.
You could even use AI to create a personalized study plan
Well,
based on your own learning style.
that's amazing. It's like having a tutor
It really is.
who knows exactly how you learn best.
And by learning to use AI in a smart and ethical way, you're developing all those critical thinking skills.
Yes.
Problem solving, digital literacy, all those things that are so important for the future.
It's those skills that are really going to set you apart,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like help you succeed in a world where AI is everywhere.
Exactly. So to all the students out there listening, don't be afraid to explore this world
Yeah.
and see how it can help you reach your full potential.
And all the educators listening, let's create classrooms where students feel empowered to do that,
Absolutely.
to experiment and to discover the possibilities of using these AI tools.
It really is an exciting time to be involved in education.
It is.
And the future of AI and learning is just full of potential.
Thank you all for joining us on this deep dive into AI and education.
We hope you enjoyed it.
We hope you learned something new
Absolutely.
and that you're excited to keep exploring this topic.
Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep asking those questions.
Yes, the world of AI is waiting.